watching Sun TV, broadcasting to the world from studios in Providenciales, in the beautiful by nature Turks and Caicos Islands. Sun TV, your source for real news as it happens.
Dr. Rufus Ewing says the scrapping of VAT in the Turks and Caicos Islands is a victory for all of the people of this country. Speaking to reporters at a press conference on Tuesday, Premier Ewing said that no one person can take the credit for the British government deciding not to introduce VAT on April 1st, 2013.
This we consider to be a victory, and this is a victory for the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands. This is a victory for the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands because it has been the people from the onset that has been driving this anti-VAT campaign initiative. And so in that regard, I would like to thank those individuals publicly, those individuals who work tirelessly against VAT. And so you have to look at persons in the Turks and Caicos Independent Business Council, persons from the Economic Resource Council, other private sector persons in the chambers of commerce, and those persons involved in the Turks and Caicos, the People's Referendum, who also went to the United Nations to present the concerns about VAT at the United Nations.
The Premier received the news about VAT being aborted in a joint letter dated February 25, 2013 from the UK Ministers for Overseas Territories Mark Simmons and Alan Duncan, Minister of State for the Department for International Development. The letter said Governor Rick Todd will not approve the private member's bill to repeal VAT, but he will be instructed not to sign the notice that would have implemented VAT on April 1, 2013. The Premier took the opportunity to thank a number of persons and organizations who contributed to VAT being blocked.
I'd also like to extend congratulations to our colleagues on the opposition, who we have invited to help us, to work with us in the fight against VAT. In so doing, as you know, one of the most momentous occasions was the meeting of the House of Assembly, where there was a unanimous vote to repeal the VAT bill. A motion that was brought forward by the Honorable Charlie Cartwright at the agreement of all parties that the opposition will bring forward the motion and the government will bring forward the bill as a private member's bill. And in so doing, we work together to debate the issue of VAT in the House and to vote against the implementation or the repeal of VAT. And so I will say that that in itself is a resounding victory. And it goes to show that as a people, once you are committed, once you stand on certain principles, and you are committed to a cause, you know what you want, we need to fight and work together to go after it, and it will happen, and it can happen. I would also like to thank my CARICOM colleagues, because that also would have had an influence on the decision from the UK Minister, us having the opportunity to visit CARICOM and deliver our address to CARICOM, and to put the UK government on notice that we have allies in this region that will help to fight and champion our cause. And so I'd like to thank CARICOM and those leaders throughout the Caribbean community for giving me the opportunity to speak to them and with them in helping to champion our cause.
Meantime, Minister of Finance Washington Mizik said he was not surprised by the letters to repeal VAT. He said it was a victory for both the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands and also the British government.
I'm not at all surprised. It's really textbook diplomacy in terms of the reaction. I'm not at all surprised. I think I'd like to add my congratulations and my commendation to the minister, because I think he did the right thing. I think the people spoke, and this was a victory for the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands, and to some extent a victory for the Turks and for the British government, because we are bound together by history, and if we are going to act in the best interest of this country, We have to find a way to work through our differences to deliver for the people of these islands. So, you know, I don't think this is a victory in the sense that I don't believe in zero-sum games. I mean, I think everybody wins in this one, including the British. And I also believe that it's important going forward that as a community we pull in the same direction. And I join with the Premier in congratulating and thanking the Leader of the Opposition and her colleagues for joining hands with us at a time when it was in the interest of the country. And we need to do more of that. And from our side of the table, I think we can say that that's a style that we would like to continue.
Now that VAT would not be introduced in the Turks and Caicos Islands, Governor Rick Todd says the PNP government would have to make some difficult decisions because there is a lot of pressure for increased public spending. In an interview with Sun TV, Todd said it will be up to Premier Dr. Rufus Ewing and his government to figure out how they will raise the necessary revenues and cut expenses.
What UK ministers said was that they will be willing to not implement VAT if presented a credible alternative. Now, the credible alternative which the Premier proposed was to constrain and reduce public spending. Now, that will, of course, require some difficult choices. Controlling public spending is difficult, reducing public spending even more difficult. There are a lot of, I think, pressures here on TCI for increased public spending, and indeed many of those were set out in the election manifestos of both parties prior to the November election. So I think you're right to say that there will be some difficult choices ahead, and I think we can look to the Premier and his ministers to come forward with proposals on that quite soon. We regard the key word for us here on TCI is partnership. Therefore, the British government, the British people, if you will, are in partnership with the people of TCI. I think we have a long and historic relationship. It's a relationship we want to continue and to develop for as long as the people of TCI want that.
Governor Todd said the VAT decision dates back to long before he became governor. He also stressed that he does not regard the decision to not implement VAT as a defeat for him or the British government.
It's been going on literally for years. It goes back to the days of the last elected government, where people realised that if TCI was going to prosper, it needed a modern, sustainable, credible revenue system, and various options were looked at: corporation tax, property tax, income tax, VAT. The British government believed that VAT was the most sensible way forward, and therefore legislation was passed to that effect. There was a great deal of consultation and debate. However, British ministers also made clear throughout that if an elected government wanted a different tax system, a different way of managing public spending, public services, they could do that. Therefore, when the Premier presented a credible alternative to VAT in the form of the present tax system, plus reductions or constraint of public spending, British ministers accepted that because it's a clear part of our partnership with TCI. Well, it's not for me to respond because the letter was to the Secretary of State, and Secretary of State ministers in the UK will respond as soon as they're ready to do so.
A young police officer had to be taken to hospital by ambulance after crashing his vehicle in the Five Keys area just after 11 p.m. on Monday night. The officer, Hussein Hicks, received a number of injuries when his Camaro sport car hit a utility pole. Several police officers arrived at the scene of the accident along with some curious onlookers. Hundreds of Dominicans who live in the Turks and Caicos Islands celebrated their country's independence in an exciting ceremony at the Kishko car parking lot last Sunday. Although the country of 10 million people will officially celebrate its independence on Wednesday, February 27, those who live in the TCI decide to have an early celebration. There was lots of fun, music, food, drinks, and dancing. Many natives of the Turks and Caicos Islands also attended the event. The Dominicans also said a special happy birthday to Premier Dr. Rufus Ewing, who shared his birthday with their independence. We now bring you some highlights from the event.
Viene con el aplauso para Dominicano fuerte.
I'm Tadleen Dafferlin. Thanks for watching Sun TV, and join us tomorrow when we bring you more news as it happens, directly to your computer or mobile device.